I had never imagined I would feel out of place simply walking through someone's doorway, but the Hale mansion was not a home. It was a declaration. Every inch of the estate seemed designed to whisper, "Asterisk, you don't belong here." Asterisk, the driveway alone could have held a small parade. Neatly trimmed hedges created a symmetrical path toward an enormous white house, with pillars tall enough to touch heaven. I felt my palms grow damp as we stepped out of Evan's imported car. My daughter, Lena, squeezed my hand. "Mom," breathed, "they're just people." I nodded, trying to steady the flutter in my chest. People with an elevator inside their house. I muttered. She laughed softly, lovingly. "Mom, her fiancé." Evan didn't laugh. He only straightened his suit jacket, glancing at us as though worried we'd embarrass him. "Let's not keep them waiting," he said, already walking ahead without offering a hand or even a backward glance. Lena's smile faltered. For the 100th time, I wondered what she saw in him that the rest of the world seemed to miss entirely. The moment we entered the mansion, cold air wrapped around me like an unwelcoming embrace. The smell of expensive candles and polished marble hit me immediately. Crystal chandeliers hung above us, their light reflecting in the glossy floors like fallen stars. A woman in a sleek black dress, Vivian Hale, approached us with a polite but practiced smile, the kind of smile someone wears because they must, not because they feel warmth. "Welcome," she said, kissing Lena on both cheeks, "and this must be your mother." Before Lena could answer, Evan stepped forward. "Oh, she's nobody," he said casually, laughing. "Just Lena's mother." The word echoed, asterisk nobody. Asterisk, the sound of it sliced through me cleanly and deeply, like the edge of a blade warmed by betrayal. It wasn't the first time I'd been spoken down to. I'd lived through bosses who sneered, co-workers who whispered, strangers who assumed poverty meant ignorance. But hearing it now, from the man who claimed to love my daughter, felt personal in a way I hadn't prepared for. Lena stiffened. "Evan, don't talk about my mother like that." He rolled his eyes, brushing off her outrage. "Relax, it's a joke. Everyone knows she's well, not used to this sort of environment." The humiliation burned hot under my skin. I forced a small smile at Vivian, who looked mildly uncomfortable, but said nothing. "Let's all go sit," she suggested too brightly, guiding us toward the dining room. The dining hall was an enormous long table, towering windows, velvet curtains. Every plate and knife was laid with military precision. But none of it mattered, because the moment I walked in, I saw him. Asterisk asterisk Richard Hale. Asterisk asterisk Evan's father. A tall man with silvering hair, a commanding presence, and eyes as cold as winter steel. He wasn't smiling. He wasn't welcoming. He was simply staring at me. His gaze locked onto my face the instant I entered the room. I told myself I was imagining the tension tightening his jaw, the way his fingers curled around the stem of his wine glass. "Dad," Evan said cheerfully, oblivious to the frost in the air, "this is her." Richard's glass slipped an inch in his hand. He blinked and blinked again. Slowly, his face drained of all color. He stared at me like I was a ghost resurrected from a past he thought he had buried forever. "Dad," Evan repeated, frowning, "are you okay?" Richard's lips trembled before he finally spoke. The words cracked as they escaped him. Asterisk asterisk, "Do you want to go to jail?" Asterisk asterisk, his voice was a whisper meant to be private, but the room was so silent that everyone heard it. Evan froze. Vivian's hand flew to her mouth. Lena looked between us, confused. "What?" Evan said, his laugh uncertain. "Dad, what are you talking about?" But Richard wasn't looking at him anymore. He was looking only at me. His pupils shrank, his breath quickened, his hand shook slightly, and his wine glass tipped, spilling a dark red stain across the pristine white tablecloth. "Dad," Evan snapped, "what is wrong with you?" Richard swallowed hard, voice cracking again. "You didn't tell me her name. You didn't tell me who she was." My brow furrowed. "I'm sorry, but have we met?" He didn't answer. He didn't blink. He didn't breathe. He just stared at me like I was the final page of a story he had hoped would remain unfinished. I felt the room shift, the weight of his panic filling it like smoke. Something was wrong terribly, frighteningly wrong. And somehow it was connected to me. Lena's hand slipped into mine. "Mom, do you know him?" I shook my head slowly, still watching Richard Hale tremble. I didn't know him, but it was becoming clear *** he knew me. *** the Hale mansion stayed behind us like a dark, looming shadow even after Lena and I drove away. She sat beside me, quiet, staring out the window. I could feel her confusion like a storm brewing in the air. "Mom," she finally whispered, "what happened back there?" I gripped the steering wheel a little too tightly. "I don't know," I lied, but deep in my stomach something old and ugly stirred. Richard Hale's eyes wide, terrified, kept replaying in my mind like a broken film reel. **, do you want to go to jail? **, every syllable vibrated with recognition. Fear, guilt. Why did he look at me like that? I had spent years burying the person I used to be. The life before Lena, before the threats, before the betrayal. Before I walked away from everything I had worked for and became just another single mother trying to stay afloat. But maybe I had not buried it deep enough. ###***, a week of silence, until the calls began **** at first. I convinced myself I was paranoid. The world didn't revolve around me, and powerful men like Richard Hale surely had countless secrets to panic over. But then the calls started. Unknown number, every evening, always silent. The mailbox, 3 envelopes, plain and empty, as if someone was reminding me that they could reach me whenever they wanted. And the car, a sleek, dark sedan I didn't recognize, parked across the street, each night from 9 p.m. to midnight, engine off, windows tinted black. Watching, I recorded the license plate. It didn't exist in any public database. Someone was hiding, and they were hiding from me. ###***, the name that wouldn't leave my mind, ****. I spent 3 nights lying awake, staring at the ceiling, sifting through memories like files. The conferences, the meetings, the boardrooms, the crime scene photos, the audits, the testimonies. The collapse, that one case, the one that had taken everything from me, the one I never talked about. Samuel Reddick, a CEO so charismatic he could charm snakes, a man who ran $1 billion empire with an iron smile, a man who stole more money than most countries hold in reserve, and when his crimes were exposed, he vanished, wiped from the earth, gone before investigators could lay a hand on him. I remembered the media frenzy, the government investigations, the threats against anyone who dared testify. I remembered the night I found my apartment door pried open, papers strewn everywhere, the unmistakable warning carved into my desk. ***, stay silent. ***, I had gone silent. For Lena, for safety, but now someone was shaking the grave of that case, and I had a chilling suspicion who. ###***, the research begins **** on the 4th night. After Lena fell asleep, I sat at the old desk in my bedroom with my laptop, a mug of cold coffee, and a tightness in my chest that refused to go away. I typed slowly, ***, Richard Hale background check. ***, dozens of articles popped up. ***, brilliant investor, self-made millionaire, philanthropist, respected, admired, generous, visionary, ***, except his life seemed to ***, begin ***, 15 years ago. Before that, nothing, no childhood photographs, no early business ventures, no college alumni records, no employment history. Men like him didn't appear out of thin air, unless they were hiding something. Unless they had changed their identity. I stared at the screen, feeling my pulse climb, with my old skills I promised myself I'd never use again. I began peeling back the layers. Shell companies, false investors, stock transfers, real estate purchases in cash. Patterns emerged. Patterns I recognized, patterns I had memorized from the Reddick case. I dug deeper. A small transaction from 12 years ago, a slip, a lazy mistake, connected a real estate account belonging to Richard Hale to an offshore account previously linked to my breath caught. Asterisk asterisk Samuel Reddick. Asterisk asterisk, my heart pounded so hard it felt like my ribs might crack open. It asterisk was asterisk him, the man who had destroyed so many lives. The man who had almost destroyed mine, the man who vanished. He hadn't disappeared. He had simply changed his face and his name. Hash 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 asterisk asterisk. The past claws its way to the present asterisk asterisk. I shut my laptop, my hands trembling, not from fear, but fury. He had built a new empire using stolen money. He had rebranded himself as a respectable father, husband, philanthropist. He had escaped justice, and now my daughter was marrying into his family. An icy dread slid down my spine. This wasn't coincidence. This was a collision, a past that refused to stay buried. A criminal who realized the woman who once hunted him now sat at his dinner table. No wonder he shook. No wonder he whispered about jail. He knew I could expose him. The question was, would I? Could I? Hash 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 asterisk asterisk. Lena notices the cracks asterisk asterisk the next morning. Lena found me sitting in the kitchen, staring into a cup of tea gone cold. "Mom, what's going on?" she asked gently. "You've been distracted." I looked up at her, my beautiful, hopeful daughter. My whole world I wanted to lie, to keep her safe, to carry the burden alone, like I always had. But she placed her hand over mine. "Talk to me," she said, "please." I swallowed hard. "Lena, I think I know why Richard reacted the way he did." She pulled out the chair beside me, eyes focused, worried. "Who is he?" she whispered. "And why did he look at you like that?" I took a deep breath, because he used to be someone else. Her eyebrows knit in confusion. "What do you mean, like a different person?" "Yes," I whispered, "a very different person." She waited. Fear tightened my throat. Finally, I spoke the name. Asterisk asterisk, Samuel Reddick. Asterisk asterisk, Lena blinked. Who? I looked into her eyes. The man responsible for the biggest corporate financial fraud in state history. Her face went pale. "And what does that have to do with you?" I hesitated, but the truth would come out sooner or later. I was the forensic accountant who exposed him. Silence. Then, "Mom," Lena whispered, voice trembling, "what does this mean for me, for Evan?" The weight of the past settled on the table between us like a silent monster. "It means," I said slowly, "that we are standing in the middle of something dangerous, and it's only going to get worse." The morning after I revealed the truth to Lena, my phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. Asterisk asterisk, we need to talk. Now, R.H. Asterisk asterisk, my breath caught. Richard Hale, or rather, Samuel Reddick, the man who had once carved asterisk, stay silent asterisk into my desk, was requesting a meeting. I stared at the message for a long time before replying. Asterisk asterisk where? Asterisk asterisk, the response came instantly. Asterisk asterisk, my office. 1 p.m. Come alone. Asterisk asterisk hash 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 asterisk asterisk, the office of a thief in disguise asterisk asterisk. His office was on the 32nd floor of a glass tower downtown. Elegant, modern, immaculately designed, just like him, but beneath all the polish I could feel the rot. The receptionist took one look at me and paled, as though recognizing the tension in the air. She walked me down a hallway lined with awards and framed articles praising Richard Hale's philanthropy and business genius. Each one made bile rise in my throat. She knocked on his heavy wooden door. "Mr. Hale, Miss Meyer is here." The door unlocked with a soft click. "Send her in," he said. Hash 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 asterisk asterisk, the fall of a powerful man asterisk asterisk. He was standing by the window, staring down at the city as if searching for an escape route. A desperate man pretending to be calm. When he turned around, his face looked even older than at the dinner. His eyes hollow, his jaw clenched. "Close the door," he said quietly. I did. We stared at each other. Two ghosts from a shared past that neither of us had chosen to revisit. "You know who I am," I said finally. His shoulders sagged. "I knew the moment you stepped into the house." His voice trembled. "God, I thought you were dead. I thought—" He broke off, shaking his head. "None of that matters now." "Yes," I said, stepping closer. "It does." He flinched as if I had struck him. "I never meant for you to get hurt." He whispered, "That night, at your apartment, I didn't order that. Your men still showed up. And they would have done worse if I hadn't intervened," he said quickly. "You were the only one who could trace every penny I stole." I panicked. "It was reckless. I regret it, truly." I stared at him, disgust curling in my stomach. "You ruined thousands of lives," I said. "You destroyed pensions. You wiped out savings. You forced people into bankruptcy." He shut his eyes tightly, jaw trembling. "I had no choice," he whispered. "There is always a choice." My voice sharpened. "And you chose money, greed, escape." He opened his eyes, and for a second, a flash of the old Samuel Reddick appeared. Cold, calculating, predatory. "You think you know everything," he hissed, "but you don't know what I was running from." I stiffened. "Running from what?" "People far worse than you can imagine," he said. "People who would kill to keep their secrets buried. I lost everything. My company, my family, my name. I built a new life from the ashes, with stolen money, with survival. He snapped. Hash 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 asterisk. The bribe asterisk. He walked to his desk, opened a drawer, and pulled out a checkbook. My stomach dropped. "You don't have to do this," he said softly, almost pleading. "I can make this right, for you, for your daughter, a new home, financial security, a trust fund for her, any amount you want." He scribbled numbers far higher than anything I had ever seen on a check. He slid it across the desk toward me. I didn't move. "Take it," he said, desperation crawling into his voice. "Please, just walk away. Stay quiet. Let me live what's left of my life." I lifted the check, looked at the number, and tore it neatly in half. It fluttered to the floor like broken wings. Richard gasped, stumbling backward. No, Maya, please. You don't understand what you're risking. I can't go back to prison. They'll kill me. You'll destroy everything." "You destroyed yourself," I said quietly. Hash 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 asterisk. The door bursts open asterisk. Suddenly, the door slammed open. Evan stood there, chest heaving, eyes wide. "Dad, what's going on?" Richard froze. I stiffened. Evan looked between the shredded check on the ground, his father's pale face, and my rigid posture. "What the hell is happening?" he demanded. Richard opened his mouth, but no sound came out, so I spoke. "Your father," I said softly, "is not the man you think he is." Evan scoffed. "Oh, really? And what gives you the right to come here? He's a criminal." Evan's jaw dropped. "What? A fugitive?" I continued. "He changed his identity. He stole millions, destroyed lives, and he's been running ever since." Evan laughed, but it was hollow, forced. "That's insane. My father is a respected—" "Don't finish that sentence," Richard growled, his voice shaking. "Please, Evan, just listen." Evan turned to him slowly, suspicion creeping across his face. "Dad, she's lying, right? Tell me she's lying." Richard's silence was louder than any confession. Evan's face twisted. "You knew," he whispered, "all those trust funds, all that money, the secrecy, the rules, the way you panicked around her." He stepped closer to his father, voice trembling with rage. "You've been lying to me my entire life." Richard reached for him. "Son, please." Evan jerked away. "Don't touch me." His voice cracked, and in that moment he wasn't the arrogant, wealthy, polished fiancé I had known. He was just a boy who had realized his entire world was built on quicksand. Hash 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 asterisk. The true betrayal comes to light asterisk. But the next words out of his mouth changed everything. "How much does she know?" Evan snapped at his father. "About my involvement." I blinked. A chill crawled up my spine. "Your involvement," I repeated slowly. Evan paled, realizing he'd spoken too quickly. I didn't mean—" "Yes, you did," I said sharply. "You definitely did." Richard slumped into his chair, covering his face with his hands. "It wasn't supposed to involve him," he whispered. "But he helped move funds, years ago, just small amounts. He didn't understand. I understood perfectly." Evan shouted. "You needed a clean channel. I made it happen." My heart sank like a stone. The boy my daughter loved, the man she wanted to marry, was a criminal too. My voice dropped to a deadly whisper. "But Lena doesn't know any of this, does she?" Evan's eyes darted away. That was all the answer I needed. My hands curled into fists. "You used her." I hissed. "You manipulated her. You dragged her into a family built on lies." Evan's expression hardened. "You want to talk about manipulation," he snapped. "You walked into our lives pretending to be harmless, but you're the one who can destroy us. You're the threat." Richard stood quickly, fear twisting his features. "Stop it, Evan. You have no idea what you're doing." "Oh, I do," Evan spat. "If she tries anything, we'll bury her, just like we should have years ago." Silence fell, cold, sharp, deadly. Richard looked horrified. I stared at Evan, realizing with gut-wrenching clarity he wasn't the innocent one. He was worse, much worse. ****, the decision that changes everything ****. I stepped toward the door. "This conversation is over," I said. Evan moved as if to block me. Richard grabbed his arm. "Let her go." "But Dad—" "Let her go." Evan froze. I walked out, never breaking eye contact. When the door closed behind me, my heart thundered, my breath shaking, my mind spinning. Now I knew the truth. Now I knew what I was up against. A criminal father, a criminal son, and my daughter caught in the middle. I pressed the elevator button with trembling fingers. It was no longer just about justice. It was about saving Lena, protecting her, no matter what it cost. I drove home from Richard Hale's office with my pulse hammering so loudly it drowned out the sound of traffic. I had walked into that building as a woman confronting her past. I walked out as a mother preparing for war. When I stepped into our house, Lena was sitting on the couch, her face blotchy from crying, her hands trembling in her lap. "Mom," she whispered, rising to her feet. "Where were you?" I called 5 times. I walked to her and gently held her arms. "I had to confirm something." She swallowed. "Is it about Evan? About his dad?" I nodded. Her voice cracked. "Mom, tell me the truth, all of it." So I did. I told her everything: Richard's real identity, Evan's involvement in illegal money movement, the threats, the lies, the corruption wrapped in silk. And with every word, I watched my daughter's heart break, piece by piece. When I finished, she sank onto the couch, face pale, eyes blank. "He helped his father hide dirty money," she whispered, "and he used me as a cover, someone harmless who wouldn't ask questions." Tears spilled down her cheeks. "Oh, baby," I said, pulling her into my arms. She sobbed into my shoulder. "I loved him," she whispered. "And he used me. He did," I said softly. "And now we're going to make sure he never does it to anyone else." ****, preparing the trap ****. I spent the next 2 days gathering everything I had collected over the years. Old flash drives, archived files, photographs, bank statements, encrypted audit logs from the Reddit case. But more importantly, new evidence from the Hale Empire, every slip Richard made, every shell company Evan handled, every suspicious transfer, every paper trail they thought they had buried. I organized it all with the precision I once used to dismantle billion-dollar fraud rings. Lena sat across from me, watching, her eyes still swollen, but fierce with a quiet fury I had never seen in her. "What happens now?" she asked. "Now," I said, sliding the final document into a thick envelope. "We let justice knock on their door." ****, the engagement party. The final stage, asterisk asterisk, the Hales loved extravagance. So naturally Evan and Lena's engagement party, planned long before everything exploded, was to be a grand affair. Hundreds of guests, champagne fountains, a ballroom that cost more than my yearly salary to rent. We didn't cancel. I needed them asterisk, all asterisk together, and I needed an audience. Lena stood beside me in a simple dress, her engagement ring gone. Her chin was lifted, her spine straight. She was her mother's daughter. We walked into the ballroom as the orchestra played a waltz. Conversations hushed when we entered. The Hale family stood near the stage. Vivian smiled hesitantly at us. Evan turned pale when he saw us. Richard's hands tightened around his champagne glass. He took one step forward. "Maya, please, we can talk." But I wasn't looking at him, because at that exact moment, asterisk asterisk, the doors burst open. Asterisk asterisk, Federal Bureau of Investigation. Everyone stay where you are. Screams erupted. Cameras flashed. Guests stumbled backward as agents swarmed the room. Richard froze mid-breath, face collapsing as handcuffs snapped around his wrists. The lead agent read him his rights over the roar of chaos. Evan pushed through the crowd, eyes wild. "What is happening?" he shouted. "Dad, say something." Richard's gaze darted to me, desperate, pleading, broken. "Please," he whispered, "don't do this." I held his stare. "You did this to yourself." He bowed his head as agents hauled him toward the exit. Evan lunged at me, fury twisting his face. "You," he spat. "You ruined everything. Do you hear me? Everything." But before he could get close, Lena stepped in front of me. "Don't you dare," she said. Her voice was calm, deadly. Evan blinked at her, choking on disbelief. "Lena, baby, you don't understand?" "No." She removed the last piece tying her to him, her engagement bracelet, and dropped it at his feet. "You don't understand. You lied to me. You used me. You're just like him. I loved you." Evan shouted, voice cracking. "No," she said coldly. "You loved control." Evan's mouth opened, but agents grabbed him next, ordering him to step aside for questioning. His empire, his reputation, his future, all crumbled in the space of minutes. As they dragged him away, he screamed at me, "You'll pay for this. You think you won, but you'll regret." But the ballroom doors slammed shut behind him before he could finish. Hash 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 asterisk asterisk, the aftermath asterisk asterisk silence settled over the room. Vivian stood shaking, staring at the space where her husband had been taken. Guests whispered behind manicured fingers. I expected fear, anger, judgment. Instead, many looked at me as if seeing me for the first time. Not a nobody. Not a poor single mother, but a woman who had just brought down a criminal empire with nothing but intelligence, courage, and the truth. Lena took my hand. "Let's go home," she whispered. We walked out together, heads high. Hash 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 asterisk asterisk, a new beginning asterisk asterisk. 2 weeks later, I received a letter in the mail. From the National Fraud Investigation Bureau. Asterisk asterisk, your expertise is unmatched. We would be honored to have you return. Your work changed lives. It's time you receive the recognition you deserve. Asterisk asterisk, I read it twice, tears blurring my vision. For years, I had been forced into silence. Now, the world wanted my voice. Lena walked into the room just as I lowered the letter. "Mom," she asked softly. I looked at her and smiled, really smiled, for the first time in years. "It's time," I said. "Time for what?" "For us to stop surviving," I whispered, "and start living." She hugged me tightly. Outside, the sun was rising gold, warm, new. Richard Hale was in federal custody awaiting trial. Evan faced charges of money laundering and conspiracy. Their empire was collapsing, but Lena and we were rising, and my past, once a shadow that hunted me, had become the weapon that set us free. Justice wasn't loud, it wasn't cruel, it was simply inevitable, and in the end, it was the sweetest revenge of all.